go. Hello everyone, my name is Emma Crane and today I'm going to show you how to wrap a present. So first thing, I always like to make sure that it's in a box. It can be kind of daunting sometimes, and if you don't have it in a box it's going to be even harder. You're also working with a delicate material, and if you aren't careful it can make a mistake pretty easily. It's fragile, so you want to be confident with what you're doing and know how to manipulate it properly. I already measured this piece of paper for this box because it wasn't longer than the roll of paper itself, but the way that you would do that is just by putting your box on it on one edge, lining it up, and then rotating it over itself 1, 2, 3 times, and you have excess here, so that's great. And you want to make sure that you have enough on the ends just to cover about halfway up that side of the box so you can do those ends properly. And most rolls of paper have squares on them, so it's a little bit easier to tell. So now that we have our box here, the first step is we're going to take this one side and we're going to bring it over and tape it down, which it's a little bit long, so I'm going to scooch it like this. And now on a bigger piece, you might want to use 2 pieces of tape, but this is a pretty small box, so I'm just going to use 1 piece of tape to secure this end down, if I can find it. Okay, so you'll take your piece of tape, tape it down, and then we're going to rotate it around and do the same thing. And bring this up and over to cover, except for this paper is a little bit long, so I'm going to fold it in a little bit so that way we don't have so much excess hanging over the side. So once we've got it there, we can pull it tight and flush, and then we'll put down 2 pieces of tape on top just to make sure it's extra secure. Like that. 1 and 2. And now we can move on to the daunting part, which is the ends. So there's 2 main ways to do the ends, and I'll show you both. The first way is we're going to push these sides in here, and we're going to make sure our hand's on the box and then crease the top and bottom flap of the paper on both sides like that. And then you're going to want to take this top part that's actually the bottom, because the box is upside down, so the seam's on the bottom, and fold it down. And you can put a piece of tape there if you like, and we'll fold this side up and put a piece of tape there, but I like to do my ends standing, so I'm going to flip it and then I'll do that one last. Now that we're here, the other way to do the ends is you can take this bottom part of the paper, remember it's delicate so you kind of have to manipulate it, and you'll push it in and then crease this diagonally, and same on the other side. So now you have your flap down and your 2 triangles on either side. And once we're here, we can push in this one side and crease that up. You want to make sure your finger is right on the edge of the box, and if you have to crease it a couple times, that's okay, because you're just trying to make it as nice and neat as possible. Then same thing on the other side. I'm going to push that triangle in and bring that paper up, and then we can fold this down, and it'll kind of look like a little envelope, which is giving me a little bit of trouble here, like I was saying. So you just really want to make sure that it's nice and even and taut. You have to hold a lot of tension without actually like ripping paper on accident. Then you'll take a piece of tape and get it down like that. Now I'll flip it over and show you. With the other end, I am going to put a piece of tape down on the bottom here just to make sure it's secure and tight, like so. And then we can take this, whoop, actually it didn't even stick. Okay, we can take this top flap and fold it down. Once we put a piece of tape down, then we have a nice wrapped box. So I'm going to show you guys some ribbon, but before I do that, I'm just going to crease the edges of the box like this. It's a little detail that I like to add that I feel like helps the boxes look a little bit neater and crisper when they're done. And I like to crease all 12 edges on the box, including the bottom ones, but that might make me a little bit crazy. And then for ribbon options, you can either tie a bow or you can do curling ribbon. With curling ribbon, I like to make sure it's at least 2 times the circumference of my box. And you're going to want to put it around starting from the bottom, so your knot will be on the top of the box. And we'll need to tie a little knot. And I might need a finger here so I can secure this knot in place. Yeah. And then once you've got this tied, good, you're going to want to curl this ribbon, and you have to identify the underside of the ribbon, which it has like a curl drop to it, so you're going to want to make sure that you're using that underside of it and not the top side, which normally the top side is a little bit shinier than the underside of curling ribbon too. Once you do that, you're going to want to take your scissors and open them, and then use the sharp side of one blade of the scissors and hold it against the underside of that ribbon from the very base. And you'll use your thumb to hold tension on it. I like to use my other hand to hold the ribbon that's tied around the box down, and you'll pull on it and it'll curl right up like that. And then you'll repeat same thing on the other side finding the underside of the ribbon, holding it with your scissors and your thumb, and you'll pull up, and it curls up like that. Sometimes the ends drop a little and you have to go back in and give it a little spruce up. And then I like to just kind of take it and manipulate it around itself so that it looks nice and not too droopy. And you have a little box with ribbon on it. You can also just use normal like fabric ribbon and tie a bow, which is cool. I just normally like to do that like tying a shoelace. I already did it on this one just so you guys could see, but once you tie it like a shoelace, you'll use the ends and just kind of pull and manipulate them until it sits where you want and tighten it down. And then you can fold them in half and trim them in one direction or another and get it to look like a little point or like a little fork. And now you have some beautifully wrapped presents. I hope you guys have success with your wrapping endeavors in the future, and I was able to transfer my mom's skills onto everybody. Thank you again.